Morning, everyone. Thank you all for braving this subarctic April day. What a surprise. We're no strangers to surprises with the weather up here. I want to start with a land acknowledgement today. I'm Sarah Milroy. I'm the director of the McMichael. The McMichael Canadian Art Collection is located on the original lands of the Ojibwe, Anishinaabe, and Huron-Wendat people. We are situated here above the Carrying Place Trail, which historically provided a connection for Indigenous people between Lake Ontario and the Lake Simcoe Georgian Bay region. This is a very special and very soulful place. I think everyone who comes here to the McMichael can feel that. We are home to the art of Canada, the only museum in the country that is devoted exclusively to Canadian art, a one-of-a-kind marriage of art and nature. Every year, we welcome some 30,000 school children here who come through our galleries to learn more about their heritage and about all the cultural threads that weave this Canadian tapestry. Visitors come here from across Canada and around the world to seek the essence of our great country. What they find is the expression of our very highest aspirations as a people. But there's more to McMichael than just the magic that happens here on our site. Today, we are exporting our McMichael exhibitions across the country with some 9 exhibitions touring Canada at any given time. That's unprecedented. Over the past 3 years, more than 1 million Canadians have seen our exhibitions in St. John's, Newfoundland, in Victoria, BC, in Edmonton, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Calgary, Quebec City, you name it. Charlottetown, let's not forget them. We've been there. It's a lot, but we love what we do here and we love what we stand for. Canada, loud and proud. Thank you. We are very happy to have our friends from the province of Ontario here with us today, and they will be sharing some good news in just a few moments. But first, I want to acknowledge some of them individually. Minister Stan Cho and his devoted deputy ministers and staff at the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Gaming are here with us today. It has been a real pleasure working with the ministry. I'm looking at you guys as well. Over the years, we have become true partners as we have solved problems together, had a few laughs, and navigated the path forward. We are so grateful for your fellowship. Minister of Finance Peter Bethenthalvny and Carolyn Mulroney, Minister of Francophone Affairs and President of the Treasury Board, are here with us today as well. I've got to say, this is a great crowd, you know? Both of them recognize the economic power of cultural industries like museums to stimulate our economy, support civil society, and articulate our values. Our local MPPs, Laura Smith and Michael Tobolo, are here today, as they are so often, cheering us on. I also want to recognize our beloved Mayor Del Duca and everyone at City Hall and in the Vaughan business community who have linked arms with us and whose commitment to arts and culture is deeply encouraging. Together, we are creating something very special here in Vaughan. Andy Pringle, chair of our Board of Trustees, is here, who many of you in this room today will know for his relentless advocacy and, and his deep spirit of public service. Thank you, Andy. And Andrew Dunn, chair of the McMichael Foundation, who embraced a bold vision for the McMichael a decade ago, and who has been walking this journey with us ever since. Many members of our governance community are here today as well, and also some of the donors that have made this dream possible. Their good counsel, their fellowship, and solidarity has been absolutely invaluable. Our friend Francesco Sorbara is joining us today, MP for Vaughan Woodbridge, who has so skillfully stewarded our requests to the federal government. Francesca, where are you? Right there, okay. We've come a long way. We cherish your camaraderie and your good cheer, and we look forward to working with you in the months to come as we seek further engagement from the federal government. And just saying, anyone in the room who wants to help with that advocacy, don't hold back. I also want to recognize our passionate advocate and friend, MPP Stephen Lecce. Who has championed the renewal of the McMichael from day one, showed up for us time and time again. He has been and will always be a resolute advocate for this community, and we would not be standing here today without his support and leadership. Minister Lecce, we truly owe you a debt of thanks for what you are doing for the McMichael and for this community that we serve. Thank you. From my heart. Finally, I want to acknowledge a person who is not in the room today, Ontario Premier Doug Ford. All Ontarians and all Canadians owe him so much for his trailblazing clarity in this time of crisis, a time when the autonomy, prosperity, and fundamental dignity of our country is under threat. He stepped up and offered leadership in this moment when we have needed it the most. Who can tell what the road ahead will be? But here at the McMichael, we know we have important work to do as we explore and celebrate Canada's cultural legacies, exploring our differences and celebrating our commonalities. The McMichael is where all our Canadian stories come together, whether it's in the form of a carving by the Northwest Coast artist Dempsey Bob, an abstract painting from the 60s by Claude Toussignon, a vintage drawing by the legendary Kanojuak Ashevak, which you'll find right up the ramp there, a Rocky Mountain landscape by Lauren Harris or Fred Varley from the Group of Seven, or a photograph by contemporary Cree artist Merrill McMaster, whose family hails from the Red Pheasant Reserve in Saskatchewan. You will find them all here in our galleries and a host of others besides. After we are finished this morning, please stay and discover all that we have to offer. We have big dreams, and big dreams require big investment. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Stan Cho, Ontario's Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Gaming, who has some very good news for us today.
Well, Sarah, thank you for that very kind introduction, and Minister Lecce, thank you for this beautiful weather today in your riding. It's really nice. I do have a few thank yous myself before we get to the bones of the announcement. And I know you're all on the edge of your seat, wondering what we are announcing this morning, but it took a lot of people to get to where we are today. And I want to thank my colleagues, Minister Tabolo, PA Laura Smith, huge champions for what we're about to announce today. Laura was the previous parliamentary assistant at the Ministry of Tourism and Culture and was pivotal in moving this along. And of course, the money. There's no doubt this wouldn't have happened without that. The President of the Treasury Board, Caroline Mulrooney, and of course our Finance Minister, Peter Bethenfalvey, who I'll introduce in just a moment. That just leaves one person I need to talk about for a few seconds. I don't know how he does it. You know, sometimes you meet people and you know, I'm just going to be friends with that person for the rest of my life. That is Stephen Lecce. And I've looked up to him since day one when we met in 2016 during candidate training. And look at his success, right? He goes on to be one of our most successful education ministers of all time. Now in an incredible time of uncertainty, he's leading the charge on our energy file, electrification, and our mines. What I learned about Stephen is that it doesn't matter the stage, it doesn't matter the stakes. He steps up to the occasion and always delivers. And all the while, he somehow manages to be one of the best local MPPs you could ever find. You are lucky, incredibly, in King Vaughan to have somebody like him being a complete pain in the neck at all times for the neighborhood. Final shout out, of course, is to the ministry, our wonderful ADM, Lisa, and Deputy Minister Nancy Kennedy. Thank you so much for all your hard work, as well as the rest of the team for being here today. Thank you so much. You know, this doesn't happen with all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes, and I know it's been happening for a while with the board, Mr. Pringle, as well as the leadership here at McMichael. 60 years, the McMichael Canadian Art Collection has been one of Ontario's best-known attractions. And there are legendary works here. Some of them were mentioned by Sarah, Tom Thompson, Emily Carr, the Group of Seven, and various famed Indigenous artists, all of whom have greatly enriched Canada's cultural landscape and artistic identity. It's a place of preservation, of education, and reprieve. And the McMichael and its archives and its galleries and its gardens is a source of true national pride. And that's why I am delighted to announce that our government is providing $50 million over 3 years to the McMichael to support the gallery's most significant expansion in more than 40 years. This investment will contribute to the modernization of the McMichael's buildings and landscape and increase capacity for community events and school programming. And I want to say it is not just for today, it is for generations to come. This will ensure exceptional, family-friendly experiences, indoor and outdoor, for visitors of all ages. This will help also protect the gallery's $750 million collection and secure McMichael's status as a world-class cultural tourism attraction, as I said, for generations to come. You know, it's many of you have heard me, especially my colleagues, talk about my family story in this country many times, moving here 50 years ago with virtually the shirts on their back and nothing else from South Korea to give their kids a better life, and they did that, right? It's the story of many of my colleagues, and it's the story of many of us sitting in the room. In fact, it's a story of most Canadians. You know, and it's no surprise to say that Canada is the land of opportunity, that with hard work you can go from very little to a lot more. And that, I'm proud of my parents for living that story. But the part I don't always talk about is how it's not just the land of economic opportunity, but we're lucky to live here. A true microcosm of the rest of the world. That you get to come from every corner of the globe and be who you are, celebrate and love the way you want to, live the way, worship the way you want to, in peace. And we take that for granted sometimes, and with the uncertainty we see around the globe, and certainly with our way of life under threat today, we tend to appreciate a little bit more being Canadian under circumstances like this. We have a real opportunity here to celebrate what is true Canadiana, both historically and both new. And we get to do that because we have a true wrap around the flag moment here. 9 in 10 Ontarians plan on visiting within our own borders, vacationing within Ontario this year, and I'm proud of that. And this announcement today goes a long way to saying McMichael is a worthy stop in your tourism plans as you get out there this year. This game-changing investment will make sure that we continue to promote the arts and the culture. It's what makes Canada, Canada and Ontario so great, and I'm proud to say that with this investment we continue to understate what the Premier has been saying all along, that Canada is not for sale, will never be for sale, will never be the 51st state, and that we are very proud, perhaps this morning more than ever, to say that we are Canadian. Thank you so much this morning for all your advocacy. Congratulations to you all. Congratulations to you all. Now, I do have the privilege and pleasure of introducing a friend and a mentor, somebody who I was parliamentary assistant to not once, but twice, first at Treasury Board and at the Ministry of Finance. And I got to hand it to Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy. He gave me an opportunity to learn when I was a rookie MPP just how government money works, which made me very well prepared to ask for that money when it came to this announcement. Everyone, Peter Bethlenfalvy, thank you.
Well, thank you, Stan. You know, just note, Stan, your training is not yet complete, my little Jedi friend. I have some prepared remarks, but I think it's these are the types of events that you got to speak from the heart. So I will a little bit today, and I want to say first off, it's such an important. Every day in government is special. You know, the privilege to sit in government, to be elected, we're public servants, to be in cabinet, to be able to make decisions. Every day is special, but this day is a little extra special. You know, this is a special day, and I can tell by the warmth of everybody here how much this means to you here today and to people who aren't here today. I want to start off by just thanking a bunch of people before I get in a few quick remarks. First off, Francesco Cerbera, I see you over there. Him and I worked together 20 years ago. We're colleagues. And you know what, Francesco, you're public service. I know you're running right now. Shouldn't you be knocking on doors? What the heck are you doing here? You better tell Mark you're here. You're getting warm. I know you're warming up here because it's pretty cold out. But look, we couldn't do the many things that we do in this country without a partner in the federal government. And you've heard Premier Ford say, it doesn't matter what stripe, when we work together, we're going to be able to do more. And isn't this true here in McMichael? So thank you to the federal government. But I'm also going to advocate, keep going. We want more money. I'm with Sarah. Let's keep pushing the federal government here. I definitely want to give a big shout out to my colleagues. I've got the privilege to work with these folks every single day. Every single day. I've got Minister Stan Cho, who was you know, a great parliamentary assistant. Look at the heights you've risen to. And in your region, boy, you folks, you've got the all-stars here. You've got Caroline Mulroney, my great partner in Treasury Board. I can't think of a better partner in Treasury Board. Like, you think I'm tough. She's tighter than the skin on a grape, that one. Thank you for being, that's Premier Ford's comment to me, so I'm moving it forward. Michael Tobolo, you know, what a great champion you are for mental health and addiction. You've moved on a new role, but you know, your legacy in that portfolio is felt by many across Ontario, so thank you for your service. Laura Smith, you know, in Thornhill, some people might not know this. I stole her executive assistant. She's now my executive assistant. Daniela, who's getting a little embarrassed in the back. Thank you for everything you do. You're a tireless advocate for your community. And I want to end with, at least with my parliamentary colleagues, with, we call him Lech. He is ferocious. He is ferocious. I mean, you've talked to me about McMichael since I don't know when. And, but he's a very reasoned advocate. He's very diligent. He does his homework. He's got a great work ethic. And when I told him that I was going to support his efforts for the McMichael Gallery, I had to scrape him off the ceiling. He was so happy. Thank you for everything you do, Stephen Lecce. I have to acknowledge Mayor Del Duca. Thank you for being here. Is Mayor Pellegrini here? Oh, there he is. I'm staring right at him. Thank you, both of you, for your public service for the community and the Township of King and City of Vaughan. You know, we can't do it without great municipal partners. The McMichael can't do it without great municipal partners, so thank you for your service. And I want to end with, at least on my acknowledgements, to both the chairs of one of the Board of Trustees, the other of the Foundation, Andy and Andrew, or is it Andrew and Andy? No, I know it's Andy and Andrew. And all the volunteers that work so hard, tirelessly behind the scenes to make a day like this happen. And by the way, this doesn't happen overnight, does it? It takes a long road. So thank you to all your members, your board members, all the volunteers. A big thank you to you. And of course, Sarah Milroy. You know, Sarah, you know, this place is iconic. You are iconic. And let me tell you, folks, she is smooth. She knows how to get what she wants. She does it so well, as does the whole team. I do want to just say, you know, it's important to support. Our government is very supportive of iconic cultural identities in Canada and in Ontario specifically. You know, it was back in 2018 when we had to make a decision whether to renovate Massey Hall. And Premier Ford said, he calls me Buddy, "Hey Buddy, what do you think about renovating Massey Hall?" I said, "Let's do it." I play guitar, so that was an easy one. Stan, you didn't mention, I think it was just last week or the week before, the Shaw. You know, another iconic property and cultural fabric of Ontario and Canada, and you stepped up for Shaw, and we're going to do a big renovation for Shaw and support that community, which is so important in Southwest Ontario. And here we are today in Vaughan for McMichael. And when I think about how important it is, Sarah, you touched on it, the challenges we have in this environment. We've got a trade war. Our ally for the last couple hundred years is making it tough to be an ally. It's more important than ever that we support these cultural identities that we have in our communities. This iconic property here, McMichael and art, whether you're supporting Indigenous, local artists, the Group of Seven, nothing says Canada more to me than McMichael. So thank you to every one of you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get to my remarks. No, I'm not. No, I want to thank each and every one of you. I know how hard and tireless people are. It's not easy navigating government and getting money out of government. So congratulations. We'll continue to work with you. And now it's my great honor, I believe, it is time to introduce the guy we affectionately call in government Lech, the great MPP, your MPP, and also Minister of Energy and Mines, Stephen Lecce. Thank you very much, everyone.
Well, good morning. It's wonderful to be here at the McMichael. You know, 60 years ago, Robert and Signé McMichael wrote a letter to Premier John Robarts. And in the letter, they petitioned the government to take the beautiful log home that was part of their estate, the property, and their rising, beautiful collection of historic pieces of art. And the Premier of the day, a progressive conservative no less, answered the call. And he said, yes, we believe we need to dedicate a space that preserves the cultural heritage of Canada for generations. And then fast forward 60 years later, when Andy and Sarah and Andrew wrote a letter to Doug Ford, Premier Doug Ford, to Peter Bethenthalvey, to Carolyn Maroney, to Laura Smith, to Stan Cho, and of course to Michael Tobolo and to myself. And we together answer the call again to ensure this institution is renewed for another generation. And I think about the nation-building investments we're making in the country, some of which were articulated by Peter and Stan. But there could be nothing more powerful in a time of a true economic war, when the sovereignty of our nation is at stake, that we stand strong as Canadians in defense of what the flag represents as a beacon of opportunity and democracy. And this $50 million investment, this renewal of this beautiful treasure that we have in the province and country, will be preserved as the greatest defense against President Trump in the defense of our culture and economic sovereignty is by renewing this institution and giving it more breath of life for generations to come, so that our children could be inspired by the symbols of Canada. And so I really came here. Everyone is very kind, and I'm grateful to them. I mean, this would not have happened if we, as a first principle, didn't have a strong team in Vaughan that was unified. Laura Smith and Michael Tobolo and I started this project really almost 4 to 5 years ago. And we were petitioning and elevating this cause and articulating the need, at that time, largely through an economic purpose. I mean, this is an investment in our tourism, in our jobs, in our GDP, in our country, and yes, in the artistic sector that is a driver of our economy. But now it's sort of shifted to a more existential threat and opportunity for Canada. And Michael and Laura deserve all the credit for being strong advocates to government. And I'm grateful to them because we've done a lot of good work together. And this is an achievement for all of us and the people of Vaughan, and frankly, for all Canadians today. I also want to thank our mayors, Because, and yes, both Mayor Del Duca, yes, our host mayor, but Steve Pellegrini is here as well, both of whom have played a wonderfully collaborative role in advocating to and being helpful. Many of the members of the board of the McMichael who are with us today, they've been wonderful champions. They hail from King and from Vaughan and from right across the province and country. And so for them, for our partners on the ground, I say thank you. And to my cabinet colleagues, one of which has the unofficial veto on all government spending. I'm looking right at Caroline Mulroney. Thank you for not exercising the veto. Thank you for believing in the cause of McMichael. Thank you, Peter. I mean, there's 50 million reasons to thank these two individuals most specifically. And I know that this project wouldn't have happened if Minister Cho didn't go to cabinet to make the official ask. So all three of you deserve gratitude. It's not just, this is not an achievement for Vaughan, this is an achievement for Canada. And so thank you for leaving a legacy for all Canadians we could all be proud of today. You know, Robert McMichael said at the time, and I quote, "We were consciously envisioning a publicly owned gallery which would one day blossom into a distinctively Canadian sanctuary that could be enjoyed by all. We have realized the dream of the McMichaels, and this investment will preserve it for another generation, for another century, a half century of service, and inspiring young people to believe in the power of our flag and in entrepreneurship, in discovery, and in creativity." And that's what we do here at the McMichael. It's what we do as proud Canadians, unified by our differences, but embracing a common value system, that we live in the best country on earth, and the true north, strong and free, the images we see, the Inukshuks, and the Indigenous art and sculptures, and the Group of Seven, it lives here. Almost $1 billion of assets are housed in the property we're in today. So we have a huge responsibility, and it's an absolute privilege as the member of provincial parliament in this community to work with these fine people, with the board, with the leadership team of the McMichael to make this a reality. So thank you all for standing with us. Thank you to the donors, because you will play a critical role as the province steps up with a third of funding. We will need private contributions too, many of whom are with us today. And thank you for digging deep, because you are literally investing in the defense of Canada. So no pressure as you write those checks. With that said, I want to introduce now a partner here in the city of Vaughan, someone who's been very strong, very kind, and very collaborative on a number of achievements. It could be from the medical school, which we are building beside the Corlucci Vaughan Hospital. It could be the new youth mental health hub. All of these achievements are done in partnership. And I now am honored to introduce His Worship, the Mayor of Vaughan, to say a few words. Thank you all so very much.
Well, good morning, everyone. What an incredible day for the city of Vaughan, the township of King, and the entire country of Canada. This is the kind of day, the kind of announcement that literally gives me chills, and that's not because it's a little cool outside. I want you to know, and I think I have the easiest job here this morning. I get to come to the podium and express my heartfelt gratitude to the provincial government, to Premier Ford, of course, to all of the ministers who are here today, to our local champions, Laura Smith, Minister McMichael Tobolo, and of course, Minister and MPP Stephen Lecce. Now, a lot of really nice things have been said already about Minister Lecce, and he has earned those compliments in such an important way, in so many important ways. And I just want to, if I can take a quick moment to express my personal gratitude to MPP Lecce, to Minister Lecce, to Stephen. Spells his first name incorrectly, but that's okay. It's VPH. It's a long-standing joke between the two of us. But I have to say, and he touched upon it, whether it's the medical school, long-term care beds, the youth mental health hub, more transit support. I mean, the list literally since 2018 has been almost limitless, almost infinite. And I have witnessed, as we have as a community, his incredible, incredible drive and work ethic, writ large when it comes to education at one point in time, and energy, and now energy in mines, but also at a very local level. And that's something that the residents of King Vaughan and the people of York Region know very, very well. So I wanted to echo what has already been said by his colleagues in the legislature as the mayor of this city and someone who's lived in Vaughan for most of his life, in my case, and is raising along with my wife, two incredible young girls. Thank you very much to Minister Lecce for always stepping up, stepping forward, and delivering for the people of King Vaughan. Thank you very much. Now, I can remember that it was February 2024, from what I recall, when Minister Lecce, Laura Smith, Michael Tobolo, and Doug Ford came right here to the McMichael and took a tour. And Premier Ford and the team had the chance, in a very up close and visceral way, to hear the pitch from Andy and from Sarah and from the entire team about the importance in terms of an investment in the assets that were mentioned, $750 million plus of iconic nation-building assets that need to be protected and preserved for future generations. I think it's safe to say, witnessing the incredible announcement made by Minister Cho this morning, $50 million to help ensure, as has been mentioned, that this continues to live on, and not just live on, but to flourish and to thrive for many generations to come. I think the effort that was made in February of 2024, combined with the exceptional local advocacy, really has paid dividends for our community. This is community building at its finest. This is nation building at its finest, at such an important time for us to recognize as a city council, with our MP, our federal partners, with the local team here at the McMichael, and of course our provincial representatives and champions. But if I can finish up my remarks by just bringing this back in to a very local and a very granular spot. I have to tell you that this is a location, this building, these buildings, this site here in our city, this is literally an oasis for the people of Vaughan, and people who come here for a wide variety of reasons. Yes, of course, to witness the beauty of the artwork that is here, those individuals who throughout generations have stepped forward to demonstrate in so many important ways their creativity. People who come here for weddings, people who come here for educational purposes. My own daughters, who years ago came here for art camp on more than one occasion and still talk so fondly about their experiences here. And I have to tell you, if you've had the chance to walk the grounds or use the trail system that literally runs right through this beautiful, beautiful property, there is a serenity and a tranquility that descends upon this location that I think is unmatched in our country. There are many times that I've been here, including today, for celebratory, uplifting, encouraging reasons, and these are a delight. But there are other moments in my own life, moments that weren't as fun as today, when being able to visit this property in the quiet, in those moments when one is searching for tranquility and for serenity and for peace, that this site here in Vaughan, in Kleinburg, at the McMichael, has really helped me and helped so many in a very personal way. So what we are doing here today with this incredible investment from our provincial government really helps speak to the recognition that the McMichael is special. It is unique. It is a reflection of the very best of our country and our community. And so our provincial government and our local MPPs and the ministers who are here this morning deserve incredible, incredible gratitude from all of us, as does Andy and Andrew and Sarah, the entire team here at the McMichael, our federal partners. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I did not remind myself and all of us that for as much progress as we've made, our work is not yet done. We're almost there, right, Andy? We're almost there, but we're not quite there yet. So we need to dig down deep. We do as a city, we do with our partners, we do with our private fundraising efforts that will continue in a very vigorous way. We have a collective responsibility to make sure that for whatever your individual personal reason might be, whatever reason or motivation you have to be passionate about the McMichael, that you tap into that you work with us, so that using the extraordinary, infinite capacity that resides in this room and in this broader community, we get this job completed, that we are able to help support the redevelopment, that it starts, that it is completed, and that many, many, many years from now, my children's grandchildren will have the opportunity to visit this site, to reflect on what we have maintained, what we have preserved, and what we have enhanced. They will recognize that, again, this is a nation-building site, that they will be patriotic, they will be supportive, and they will feel truly special and lucky to have the McMichael flourish in their lifetime. So again, Minister Cho, Ministers Bethenfalvy, Mulroney, Tabolo, MPP Smith, and of course, our dear friend and local champion, MPP Lecce, Minister Lecce, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for once again delivering for the people of Vaughan, the people of Ontario, and the people of Canada. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those beautiful and wise words and the long view you take of this place as it blossoms and expands and transforms for generations to come. We share that passion for that to be, so we will make it happen. Thank you all for being with us today at the Home to the Art of Canada. We are going to now, I think, have some time together to have some more coffee and pastries and enjoy each other's company. I'm also, as I said before, going to be, if anyone wants to tour in the galleries afterwards at some point, I'll be heading up the ramp. I'll try and make a little noise before I do so, in case anyone wants to come and see a truly remarkable exhibition we have on view here today, Worlds on Paper, Drawings from King 8. Just a little footnote here, and I do love my footnotes. We house here 90,000 original drawings that we have safeguarded for over 30 years from the community of King 8, formerly known as Cape Dorset. Our Indigenous curator, Emily Henderson, has delved into that 90,000 drawings to take a look at what people were making in that community that did not make it into their famous printmaking program. There's 2,300 prints made in Cape Dorset, and there's 90,000 drawings. So you can imagine the sort of undiscovered continent of meaning and interpretation and history of her people that she is plumbing the depths of in this beautiful show. So give yourself a treat, play hooky with us. You won't be sorry, and thank you so much for being with us today.